to Rugged Mountain Homestead. My name is Sarah, and today we are going to be in the kitchen. I wanted to share with you some easy, convenient ways to make your life a little bit more simpler in the kitchen, especially as we're approaching the busy gardening season, and people in the spring and summer tend to get a little bit busier. Instead of going to the store and buying expensive convenience items that hold much lower nutritional value, we're going to create convenience items here in the kitchen today. And I'm taking the recipe for cornbread from my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. It's the new cookbook from 1953. This is absolutely one of my very favorite cookbooks. Back when a lot of ladies were still cooking from scratch, and that is a huge factor to living on a homestead, is being able to cook from scratch. In order to make a convenience item, we know that it has to be shelf stable. So I have taken the recipe and I have all of my dry ingredients right here. And first I'm going to put my funnel in so I don't make a huge mess. And the first ingredient is 1 cup of flour. As you notice, mine's a little bit more. I have to adjust a little bit because I'm doing high altitude baking, which makes a big difference in baking. So I'm just going to pour that in here into my 16-ounce mason jar. Okay. Okay. Next is going to be 1 cup of cornmeal. This particular cornmeal is Bob's Organic red mill cornmeal. You can usually get them in like a 2-pound bag at the store. I happened to get this one until my larger bag comes in. Now what you'll probably notice too is you'll say, oh no, Sarah, that's not going to fit. And so just like I use with my canning, I'm going to use my little handy dandy debubbler. What it actually does is you just push down in here and it gets the air pockets out. And believe it or not, it makes a huge difference. Okay, that's pretty good. That's the rest of the cornmeal. Now in a 16-ounce jar, it is going to be packed tight, but that's okay, because unless you want to double your recipe and put it in a quart jar, but I elect not to use my quart jars unless I have to for anything else other than canning. Okay, and then a 1/4 cup of sugar. And then you have 4 teaspoons of baking powder and 3/4 teaspoon of salt, and I just put them both in this measuring cup right here. And of course, if you use a larger jar, you won't have to do this, but I just hate to see so much wasted space in a quart jar, like I said, unless you're going to double the recipe. Perfect, 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 perfect. And then I just take a lid and seal that on pretty nice and tight. What I will do then is I'll make it much prettier if I'm going to be giving it away, but I will take a piece of paper, sometimes like a little cardboard tag, and I put on here, of course, that it's cornbread mix, and then the wet ingredients, which the wet ingredients for this is 2 eggs, a cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of shortening. I don't use shortening. I like to use something more natural. I use coconut oil, or you could also use lard. You probably could even use bacon grease, some sort of animal fat, much more natural, and I bet the bacon grease would give it a really good flavor as well. But today I used coconut oil. So then what you have now is a mix for cornbread. Instead of going to the store and buying a box of Jiffy or whatever else it is, you have it right on your shelf. You can take it off on a busy night, dump it into your mixer with 2 eggs, a cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of shortening. Giving these as gifts, some people say that giving food gifts is outdated. I don't think so. I love getting food gifts. Dean loves getting food gifts. And especially with the high prices of groceries right now, I think anybody would be really happy to get a food gift. So if you wanted to just come in one night and pull this off the shelf, throw in the wet ingredients, it's so simple. You could grab off some beans and throw in some onions, and there you have, a really fast, easy makeshift dinner. You can tell I'm from the South, as those are kind of staple foods where I'm from. So let's go ahead and get started making some cornbread. Okay, and since you would be pouring your cornbread mix into your mixing bowl from the jar, since it's kind of layered in there, I would probably just go ahead and give it a quick stir, those dry ingredients, just to make sure they're all incorporated nicely. Now, you're going to add in your 1 cup of milk, your 1/4 cup of fat, whether it be coconut oil, lard. I don't use shortening. I don't like it. I don't think it's good for you. Okay, and your 2 eggs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this over to the mixer. You're not going to want to beat it. You just want it until it's thoroughly combined. It's going to be a little bit lumpy. All right, so now that you have everything nice and mixed and incorporated, it's going to be a little bit lumpy. That's okay. And since I have a standing mixer, I still just go ahead and give it a couple of stirs just to make sure that everything got incorporated off the very bottom. Sometimes it doesn't, or has a little bit in there. My very favorite way to make cornbread, of course, is in nothing other than a cast iron pan. Okay, I have a seasoned cast iron pan here. I love cooking with cast iron. And it seems that everything turns out wonderful in it. So I'm just going to pour my batter in here. Now some people may be thinking, oh Sarah, what's the big deal to have convenience items on your shelf? And you know, for some people, they don't see anything wrong with that, and that's fine, that's their choice. There were years that I had them on my shelf as well, but it wasn't until sometime later, as I became more conscious of my health, as I started experiencing some health issues, that I really started researching our food. And food has a lot to do with your health, because some things cause inflammation, and there are some foods that are natural immune busters and they can help fight inflammation. And so I elected to start cooking from scratch, to eating as whole as I could with fresh fruits and vegetables. And I saw a marked improvement in my health. Now you just want to pop this in a 425-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes. I'll go ahead and set my timer. I'm gonna go ahead and make it for 25 minutes. There we go. Okay, the timer has gone off, so let's go ahead and test our cornbread. Perfect. It is sizzling. That is a perfect pan of cornbread. Set it down, let it cool. Dean will be so excited to see that when he comes in. He loves cornbread almost as much as I do. Can whip up some chili tomorrow. It's still rather cold here, and that'll be perfect. If you wanted to turn that dry mix, that shelf-stable, convenient dry mix into a gift, you could always take a pretty tag or the face of a greeting card repurposed, and all you have to do is write the wet ingredients down and just the very short directions of combining, placing in the oven, and for how long. It'd also be really cute if you take that jar and maybe a spatula or something that you would use, you know, to get it out of the mixing bowl, maybe tie a burlap ribbon around it, things like that. And it's really good to have things like that on hand, not just for the convenience and the nutrition, but also there's, you know, things missing in there like the anti-caking agents and all the extras that get put into convenience mixes in boxes in the grocery store. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it has inspired you to try doing a dry mix. The possibilities are endless. You can make a mix with any type of dry ingredients. You could do it for brownies or for cookies or for biscuits. Anything that you really want to have on your shelf that you can just go ahead and pull down at a moment's notice, and make a wonderful from scratch dinner. Some of you may be saying, Sarah, I work full time, you know, I'm extremely busy, or I have kids that need to be run to sports or different, you know, activities that they may have, and I've been there. And what I would suggest is that you could take half a day, turn it into a kitchen day. You'd be surprised how many of these you can get knocked out just in that amount of time. You know, take all your ingredients out that you're going to be using from your recipe, so they're right there in front of you, and just get to work and put them on the shelf. You will be so thankful later on when you're busy and maybe something has, you know, run over and you're thinking, what am I going to do for dinner? And you won't have to stop and pick up the takeout, because you will have everything on your shelf to make a wonderful from scratch meal for your family waiting on you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's inspired you to try making a dry mix or looking through a cookbook to learn how to do from scratch cooking. And if there's anything of interest that you would like for us to do in the kitchen together, please put it in the comments below and I will do my best to go ahead and get on that. It has been great working with you in the kitchen today. I thank you for coming and stopping by the Homestead, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba ba.